I recently came across a book that I found back in 2001 during a rough period in my life. And for some reason, it just kept reappearing to me. As of late, I've noticed that many people have suggested it. And one part of this book, which is written by a man by the name of Miguel Ruiz, is be impeccable with your word. And for some reason, it just spoke volumes to me. So when he goes into talking about being impeccable with your word, this quote comes to mind. Be impeccable with your word. Speak with integrity. Say only what you mean. Avoid using the word to speak against yourself or gossip about others. Use the power of your word in the direction of truth and love. So essentially, Don Miguel Ruiz is saying that words have power. So let's go a little bit back in history to a time when there was an individual whose words had power. He was a great orator. His words had an impact that changed a nation, that led to war, and eventually led to destruction and death. Don Miguel Ruiz, he says that we're all magicians and that we either cast black magic or white magic. Someone that really comes to mind, that really speaks to me, is Maya Angelou. I discovered her during a very dark period in my life when I was a teenager. And her words were like magic. Her words gave me hope, courage. And one of her famous quotes is, "Courage is the most important of all virtues, because without courage, you can't practice any other virtues consistently." Now let me give you a background about Maya Angelou. She understands that words do have power. There was a time in her life, and this comes from her book, I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings. She was 8 years old, and she was molested by her mother's boyfriend. She opened her mouth and disclosed that she was molested to some family members. Her family members ended up killing that man. So for this 8-year-old child, speaking those words was like death. So for Maya Angelou, she didn't speak for 5 years because she knew just how powerful her words had been. So let's go back to what Don Miguel Ruiz said about impeccable. Essentially, he says that impeccable means without sin, and that we have to be mindful of what we say, because sometimes those words, that negative self-talk that we do sometimes, that self-defeating behavior, it can really cause us a lot of pain and a lot of hurt. And it can also do the same for others. So much like Maya Angelou, words do hurt, and I have the scars to prove it. So essentially he's saying that, we hold on to a lot of things, we hear these things, we speak these things, and somehow it's a vicious cycle. It comes right back to us. But if we could learn to just love ourselves and not sin against ourselves, be kind to ourselves, and be kind to others, live our truth, we'll definitely find heaven on earth. Thank you.